this is leather or vinyl. It smells like leather. Low key filling this pocket though. I feel like I could recreate this bag, but I want a designer to because I think people would want to make it. Yeah, I am live, but it takes about like 2, 3 minutes before everybody gets notifications, and that's if no YouTube does it. YouTube is really weird. Sometimes YouTube even like unsubscribes people or just don't send notifications. It's weird. I was talking to other like Patreon people, and the reason why a lot of people like went over to Patreon is because of YouTube, like YouTube not doing it, and then a lot of people do like Switch or some other version of a platform because don't get notifications, and it's frustrating for like the viewers that want to see people that are like consistent, like that do weekly or daily shows. You know, I'm talking to my husband, not myself. But sometimes I talk to myself when I have no one else to talk to. Good morning. I do. He is here. So I'm not, I assure you, I am not talking to myself. But even if I wasn't, it's cool to talk to yourself. Just don't answer yourself, apparently.
After COVID, everybody
I think everyone, it's
they
you.
talk and respond to
You're
themselves.
not supposed to respond to yourself or talk about yourself in the third
But
person.
when
But
people were living in their homes and couldn't go out and do anything, that's all they had.
you know what is funny? I told them the story about Rupert yesterday. And have you ever had like a full circle moment, like something that happened in your teenage years and you never thought about it until you got older? So when I'm telling you guys about Rupert the lion, it hits me. Why did I pick the lion over the teddy bear, Kindle?
I don't know.
Okay, my dad gave me the lion stuffed animal backpack and a teddy bear, but I did not gravitate to the teddy bear. I gravitated to the lion. Why would I gravitate to the lion?
I don't know.
We both would gravitate to the lion.
What? Because we're Leos.
We're Leos. Good morning. I want to say hi, Kendall. So you're supposed to like magically pop your head in right
I
here.
want to pop my head in when you get more people on.
There are people on. There are people on.
I want to make my showcase.
He's definitely a Leo. he's, he's an August Leo. See, there is a difference between a July Leo and an August Leo. I can tell you that. I did bring my land bag. I hope there's some designers over here. Like, no, seriously, this bag, I have looked, I have traced, I have been on my like iPad, well, not iPad, I have like a sketch feature on my Samsung where tried to sketch this out numerous times. And I know I think I can do it, but the problem is somebody's gonna ask me, not somebody, multiple people will be like, oh, what pattern is? And I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't write patterns. So because people have asked me about Ishmael, they don't understand. Ishmael almost caused the death of me. He'll come soon. But yeah, so yeah, today I have a very active and fun day. I'm going to be filming the second Aura Rosa video out of the three C's. And again, if you're in Aura Rosa's group, she's like tantalizing and teasing you guys, saying that she's going to drop 3 patterns at once. She's not lying, and all I can give you as a hint is calm, cool, and collective. Okay, so I'm going to be doing cool today, and I'm not gonna lie, this one comes together pretty fast. It comes together pretty unique, and I'm really excited to do this video. I think I could show you the fabric I use, but I can't show you the pattern piece. Look at the fabric. Doesn't that take you guys back? So, yeah, I'm going to be using that fabric today, and I'm using Serene thread from Wizardly Stitchery because it has like all these whimsical colors, and I'm really excited about it. I do have Adobe Illustrator. I just can't. I can create pattern pieces all day long, but the thing is that everyone's brain doesn't work the same. So like I like to I'm an observer. My favorite thing to do is at 9:30. I don't like to watch YouTube or anything. I usually finish all my correspondence and then I like to watch people on Facebook. Okay. Everybody has a toxic trait. My toxic trait is watching people complain about the same thing over and over again. There's always someone that's like, oh my God, I got a pattern and it only comes with a YouTube video. Oh my God, I got a pattern and it doesn't have the square pieces in it. Oh my God. Like, I don't understand. I feel bad for designers, like, because it's never enough. Why does this pattern person have like SVGs and this one doesn't? Like, it's never enough. They're never enough, and it's not fair. Instead of just looking back to like less than 7 years ago, a pattern was just a pattern with pieces, and any other rectangular squares, you had to draw them out or cut them out. So, like, you can't please everyone. So I sit back, I'm like Michael Jackson in that meme and eating popcorn. I don't like popcorn though, the kernels and the teeth, and then I'm flossing for like ever, and then there's like phantom kernels in my teeth. I'm just, the flavor is awesome, but me and my gums can't do popcorn. So like I'm watching it, it happens notoriously every in any group at least once or twice a day. And I just feel for it because like I know designers at this point where they're on Facebook, they want to roll their eyes so far in back of their head that they could pop them out because this person has to do YouTube videos, or this person has to have SVG files. This person has to have the rectangle one. And you know what? There are designers that have helped people. You have Tara from Creation that's like, you know what, dude? Here, this is a website that you could type in the rectangle things and you could print them out, and that's not good enough. They want them included into the pattern when you can easily just mosey your little self over to a website, type in the figures, and print them out. But no, you want the designer to include them in the pattern, which will add more waste because you're printing out more paper when you can just use ruler. And I get it. I get it. Everyone can't do the ruler thing. I get it. I'm like that. I'm dyslexic and I get mad when I see 3/4, 3/8, all this difference, but I do it because I want to make this bag. I obviously see this designer's pattern bag and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make you. But like it's just really hard for them. Some designers are able to do more because they have like different testers that have more capabilities to do different things. And that's good. That's kudos for them. But there's some designers that can't. There are some designers that are able to do their own tutorials, and there's some designers that hire other people to do it. There's some designers that have dedicated YouTube tutorials. I'm one of these very odd ones. Like the YouTube tutorial for the backpack, I've never done a design for her, but I have a tendency of going to do tutorials for people that I have never heard from, especially from someone from another country. I always like to try something new and that intrigues me in a pattern that I have never done before because I always want to test my skills, and I like to see if other people like to try new patterns too. That is me. But I am also not a person that's like, okay, you need a SVG file for everything now, because the chances are if you have a Brother Scanner cut, a silhouette, or a Cricut, you know how to make an SVG file yourself. We can't just keep asking these designers to do all these things and have a price point between $10 and $13. If they're doing all this stuff, expect the higher price point. You want to charge for your bags to be higher and complain about Louis Vuitton's and Dooney and Burke's purse prices, but then you want to complain about the price points for designers? The math ain't mathing. You can't do that. You literally can't do that. You can't be like, my bag is worth $500, but I want this designer to have their price point at $10 for the pattern. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Their time, their effort, and everything they put in it, they're worth it. Whether they sell their price point at $15 or $20, I'm sorry, some of these designers, I feel like they should be selling their patterns at $19.99 or more because they're putting so much into it. Videos, SVG, 3D model things. Like I feel like they need more. That's just me. I feel like we're asking for more from people to buy our bags. I feel like designers should ask more from us too. You can't go to McCall's and be like, you need to change your price point. So why are we asking small businesses to do it? really ask yourself that. Next time you complain about the price point of a pattern, ask yourself, can you call McCall? Can you call Vogue? Can you call any other pattern company and tell them to change their price point? And if the answer is no, which it should be in your head, why are you asking a small business to? I'm just throwing that out there. Good morning, Christine, Sandra, Marie, Roxy. Okay, what's up, Nikki? Hey, Lynette. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Kelly. Oh, you made me a smoothie.
Hi there.
you got Kendall. He is about to go to work.
Hi and bye.
Hi and bye. But he works nearby. So yeah, so just something to think of. Like I watch it and I literally want to hop in and say something, but pitchforks and everything, you can I swear the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I'm weirdly protective over designers, and it could be because I test for a lot of them. And some designers, like when they make bags and they make exclusive videos and stuff like that, I just I'm like, they do all this and their price points are like $10 or $14. And they're like, hey, I'm waiting for a sale. And I get it. Everyone has like financial situations. But at the same time, when you make this bag format, you're like, oh, I want to sell it for like $200. And I'm like, look at you. You want to be on the same level as Dooney and Burke, Vera Bradley, all these big name brands. And you get mad when someone tries to lowball you, but you're willing to lowball the person that made that pattern for you. It makes no sense. You can't go to Decaville Light and be like, dude, give me 30% off. Vianney, I need 40% off of your phone. You can't. You're not going to the hardware company to be like, hey, I need a discount. Just saying. It's something I've been observing and it's just like very weird to me. So like, I don't know. Okay, that's weird. So, all right, we're gonna go into the bag. So I told you in the early 2000s, Gwen Stefani was like, "Hey, love angel music, baby, and I'm gonna create a bag company and really dope sunglasses. If you're able to obtain these sunglasses, you're pretty cool because you were hard to get back then when we had our Boost mobiles." She came out with a bag line and a sunglass line, and she had some other stuff like Harajuku Girls couture collection, but the bag line is where I was like super intrigued. I was introduced by the bag line by my little sister Kalissa, and she loved them. Thank you, Lynette. So what else? So I was just talking about um respecting price points for pattern designers, that you want to price your bags high and you don't want people asking you to have a discount on your bags. Do not ask discounts for pattern designers. It's the same thing, pot meat kettle. Um, so we so lamb, this particular lamb bag, when it came out, I wanted it. It was very expensive in the 2000s. I don't know if it was like 2002 or 2004. I cannot let tell you. There's nothing in the bag to indicate it what it was. But this bag I lost and then I rebought, and it's just been sitting in my closet. Um it's always something that I wanted to recreate, but I'm not a designer. There's a reason why designers get supposed to get paid for what they get paid, because they're architects of the bag making world. So here it is. So this bag, first of all, is pretty hefty. It's been bended a little bit. So first of all, you see the really cool detail. I think this is a really cool thing. So if you guys been looking for an interesting way to put your nameplate on something, look at this. So like a small buckle detail that is like on a luggage tag. How cool would that be to start putting that on your own bag? Sometimes revisit bags from the past to put something currently on your bag would be very cool detail. So I thought about maybe doing this for an upcoming bag like the Hitchhiker. That would be dope. Or even a magnet, like one of those, like getting a magnet from Olivia, putting it on, and then putting this over it would be a really cool feature. All right, look at these. This is kind of like the Burberry. Burberry has these connectors like this, but this is before Burberry. Again, this is either 02 or 04. So look at the features on this. And look at the handle feature. I have to move my smoothie or I'm going to knock it over, and it was all for naught. so, so look at the handle feature. So the connector is in this, and then it's tied into a Chicago screw. This bag, again, 02 or 04, we're just going to call it early 2000s so that way everyone doesn't get confused. And it is substantial. All right, we got the kind of the Burberry purse feet too, right here. This bag is an oldie. So on the side, we have another cool connection right up here, and I think this may be where is hiding a seam. This is where I think, because this has a three divider pocket thing. So we have our first divider that has absolutely nothing in it except the lamb print in here, which kind of reminds me a lot of like the polka dots or some of the Tula Pink themes, where Tula Pink will have stripes and just have like little ladybugs or something. It kind of gives me a Tula Pink feel. And then on this one, we have nothing, but this cargo pocket has something super cool, something that you can incorporate into your own cargo pocket. You have a regular, the opening of the regular cargo pocket, but look at this. You have a fashion snap right here. So this is a cool feature to have, because if you have like a mini wallet or you have a little bit of money that you don't want it to get lost, you can just snap it in place. And behind there is another slip pocket. Little things that you could put in your bag to add a little pizzazz. I love looking at old bags to revamp them and put them in new bags for different modifications that we don't think about now that was pretty relevant back then. All right. So in the third pocket, again, you don't see lamb metal plate on the outside. You kind of see it on the inside, which this kind of reminds me of Amy at Bedhog. She really does put her tags really cool. So when I seen this, I was like, this reminds me of something in Bedhog Designs. But you see that it's a bigger leather piece, and then nice rivets right here with the nameplate center. That is something that we can think about doing on our own. And it doesn't have to be a metal plate. You can use your heartwood and hide and have this, and then have like little rivet features. And it could be a nice little accent point just to showcase your name tags even more. You have a nice wide zipper, and no, there's no zipper tape showing. So thank God. For a high-end bag, I hate when I see that. This is a metal zipper tape. It has that cool little Gwen Stefani LL. It looks like a present, but it's actually a double L. And that's all it has for pockets. But the reason why there's probably not a lot of pockets is because it has 3 compartments. The only thing I can gather from this is I would need to probably take this apart, which would kind of make me a little bit sad, is that this is the center seam that probably connects these two, and this one band goes underneath. So there's a zipper facing, if you see here, that is connected down to the center seam. I'm thinking that's how this is all put together, like an accordion. That this is the binding, and the outside is all completely bound. So it's all raw edges, and it's all bound together, and that's how it's put together. Like, it's no turning right sides together. It's all bound, which is really interesting because it's something I haven't done with leather or vinyl. But as you can see, there's different bounding, and this is like an overlap. This one got bound, and this one slightly overlaps by like 1/8 of an inch. It's a really cool bag. I particularly love how the handles are. I thought this was really cool because the first time I saw Bringberry's hardware, I kept saying I've seen this look before, but it wasn't with hardware. And as soon as I pulled out the bag, I was like, I knew it. And this is a signature thing that Lamb used a lot back in the early 2000s. I love the handles, and I kind of want to work with this a lot. I want to try to see if I can incorporate this with some kind of bag handles because it's such an interesting twist on it. So just having it fold over onto itself over the connector and then secured with a Chicago screw. And then it just gives you hope. Like for a lot of people, like I don't know the longevity of a Chicago screw. This bag is older than my oldest daughter, who's going to be she's 19, 20 in in November. So it's that tells you how the longevity of this bag. And this bag is I had to chase Loki, was in its mouth. You know, he always puts you guys know Loki. So it's cool. And I love this. So like you have like this lamb kind of Pac-Man cheetah print, and then you just have this hint of color. And it's not on the back, it's not on the bottom. And I just love this little hint of color of piping. It just pops out a cool little feature. So this is like one of my bags that I've always wanted to recreate, but I can't. And I'm like, a minute a designer's like, I think I could recreate it, I'm going to send them this bag. Just take it. Like, because I think this will be a great bag out here because it's not quite a bowler bag, but it's not, I don't know what to call it. It's just very unusual, and I think it's something that would be really cool to have in our bag universe because we have nothing really 100% similar to it because it will consist of a lot of binding. Now, here's the issue, and this is where I would think a lot of designers will be like, "Oh hell no, Shinova," is because of the binding. There are people that are like team binding 100%, like yeah, but there's a lot of people who be like, "Nah, I ain't binding." Like, and will cuss you out. I have heard like designers that are like, I hate binding with all my life. Because binding can go to Hades, you know, like just it all depends. So this would probably be a labor of love, knowing that only it might be skilled for an advanced person and it has to be a person that likes binding, which that is a lot of time and effort for someone to put into recreating a pattern, putting instructions, making their own video or hiring someone to do a video, and knowing that it may not have the same amount of sales as their average bags do. And that's the hard part. That's why you see you're getting designers trying to make bags that are more inclusive for every, you know, walk of life and for people that are for every skill set. So that's the harder part of what we're working with now. So that's why when I see something, I see a designer do something a little bit unique, I'm like usually running over to that pattern because I'm like, this is weird. I want to get down with it. Like, so like just I implore you to go through your own bags because chances are the reason why you're making bags is you like bags. You might have something in your attic, storage, basement, whatever, a old favorite, and go for it. Look through it. See if it's something that you could implement or modify into your next bag. I think I'm definitely going to do the 24 line or a fashion snap and make a little flap on a cargo pocket. I think that's a great selling feature to someone saying, hey, if you're like me and you leave your zipper pockets open, as you can tell, the zipper pocket was open on this one. I always leave the zipper pocket open. I'm not going to front and be like, yeah, I close my zippers every time. I don't. I forget everything. I have ADHD, man. But I weirdly, I will close a button. I don't know why. I can't explain things. I just do. So it might appease somebody else to know that, like, oh yeah, I could stick my cash in here at amusement park and just snap that button. Or just like I could do a pocket in like a Catalina and just do a flap in the inside and they can just snap that button and like they could stick their phone in it. And it could be a unique selling feature that costs you pennies. Like 24 line snaps and fashion snaps are pretty inexpensive versus buying fabric zipper by the yard and a zipper pull. So just a thought. Yeah, I know. I agree with you, Shannon. Like I'm reading comments and you're like, what the hell is she reading? She's just shaking her head. Yeah, I know. Harwood and Hyde has backing templates. Yes, I gotta get the backing templates. I have two different sizes of my templates. I have like a vertical one that's like roughly like an inch and a half that says That's So Nova, and I have like the normal ones. And I agree. I think everyone, if you do have the Harwood and Hyde tags, definitely get the templates because I think it just makes sense to get the backing one so you can have the exact the exact measurements for your template, especially if you're like me and not a person that can eyeball. I am the wrong person. Every time I try to eyeball, it's not my forte. I try though. I try hard and it just I'm always off. I'm always off by like an eighth of an inch or more. I'm just I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It's not my forte, and it's just like it's wrong. Yeah, I love this bag. I absolutely adore it. I think it's one of the bags I have in my closet, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna force this upon one of the many, many designer friends and be like, you need to take this bag and go forth and create something that is truly epic for all of mankind. Because I actually haven't seen a bag that is dupe. Because sometimes you could do Busta Macklemore and go to go into Goodwill and pop some tags and you'll see some very intriguing bags. Um, a lot of the older bags have something that people gravitate to. I also implore you to sometimes just go into the mall, like go into some of the Bad and Bougie stores and look at what's inside their bags. You'll be actually quite surprised that you do a lot more with your bags than some of these Bad and Bougie ones. And you're just like, where the hell do you put your cell phone? Like, like when I go into them, I seen like this really pretty like golden apple one and you opened it up, I was like intrigued. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna have some cool things. Like the coolest thing was is that when you opened up the latch, the apple kind of opened up and it had like a fabric like hinge, right? And it was like it looked like one of those fans that you did like, yes, sir, like back in the 1800s or whatever. But there was no compartments or zippers or anything in the inside. And the apple wasn't small. It was a good size. I was like, so wait, how, where do you put your monies? Where do you put your chapsticks? I'm assuming, I guess you don't wear chapsticks when you're carrying this purse, but it was like a $400 purse. So I need some kind of separation of something. so so like one that can make you feel really good about all the things you can do with your purse. But also look just to look around and then I'm not gonna lie, go to like Marshalls or TJ Maxx or Goodwill or something and look at the older purses. They have interesting things. I never would have thought about putting a fashion line flap, which is it easy to make a flap on a cargo pocket and it might help somebody that like that will be like, yeah, I don't zip pockets, but I surely would snap down a button. Just throwing it out there, just look. And that could be a easy way for you to start modifications and offer something that is unique to you and your style that might intrigue somebody to purchase your bag. Yeah, it's really crazy because I hear a lot of people that say they don't like binding. I know we it seems like during COVID, we turned to like binding everything. And it's when someone doesn't like binding, I'm like, it's weird because I feel like the last 4 or 5 years, like binding in the sewing community went hardcore. Like, and it's weird because here's the thing. In garment making, you do a lot of binding. In quilting, you do a lot of binding. And I'm like, what faucet of sewing did you come from before you started bag making? Because I want to know why you don't like binding. Is it because you feel like your machine is struggling with it? Or do you feel that it's twisting? Like, I want to know why so that we can like troubleshoot it. Because like I feel like binding is good. Like people are helping me. I had some serious doubts about elastic because my thing is I kept thinking about the runs in your pantyhose. Like there's elastic, it has if it snags, it's going to run. And I still feel that way, but the last couple bags that I've bound with elastic, I still can't get it all in one shoot. I still have to go around with the second thing. But I think it's really curious how when you pull it taut, it stays on itself without clips. I think it's the most intriguing thing, but I have snagged some stuff. I'm trying to figure it out, but I will continue to try to do it to master it. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean you don't continue to enhance your skills. That's the only way we can get better is by trying. So just try. That's the most you can do. And it's not there the binding is not that expensive and you can get it from a couple different people. I say just, try it. The one thing I can say about elastic other than how it wraps around your material is um the way your seams poke out is different. Uh, they poke out hard, like, the seams come out harder to me. I never have that sunken in look with my binding, because I'm that person that will poke it out and then, like, seam roll the heck out of it until, like, it's, like, popped out, like, it's traumatized. But with elastic, I feel like the seams poke out a little bit harder and a little bit more crisp, and they don't look as bulky. And that's just my perspective so far. I've only made 5 bags with it. Um, I'm gonna try out a couple more, but yeah, I'm trying it. I'm still afraid of, the needle snagging it. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I use it, I'll use a fresh needle because I'm just afraid like a needle burr or spur will get on it and it's gonna just it's gonna run. I'm not gonna lie. I'm low key, maybe high key afraid of that. Let's see. Yeah, everyone has a method. I like okay, so I like like Shannon has the best method for measurements. Like, okay, because when I first started binding, I used 2 inches. So when she came out with the Rosie, game changer. I'm not giving you the measurements because you need to own the Rosie. Own the Rosie. It comes together really fast. I already told you guys that why I liked it because oh my god, there's something wrong with me. I was like the back. Like how is this going to show you the back? Like the back, the the back connectors, how the connection is it makes sense and it keeps them out of the seam, so therefore it reduces bulk, which will prevent that. Oh my god, my connector came out of the seam. It'll help you out tremendously. So like that, like you can learn from each person. So the connector and the binding helped. So like each person I've ever went to has like a unique way. Like my I the first person I learned really hardcore about binding was the Magdalena, and I think that with Ora Rosa, I learned a lot because I had a hard time sewing a circle, and for some odd reason, anytime I can make a Magdalena and do binding, my thing is like a plate. It is you could eat off that joint. It is like amazing. So like I think binding does help tremendously. It's just learning what works for you and how it is. I weirdly enough, everyone always asks me when you see me binding. I am not a huge binding person with water proof canvas. That's why I liked Shannon's method. I'm a person that likes to bind and make my own bias binding with cotton because it just is more flexible and it's lightweight. So when Shannon had her method with the Rosie, I was like, oh, cha-ching, this is really cool. It makes sense in my head and it matches now my lining. 'Cause usually I put some rainbow colorful, I buy a lot of Tulip Pink or Allison Glass just to make bias binding. Um, and I'll just put it in randomly in different bags. But with this, I learned how to do waterproof canvas. But beforehand, if you look at any of my videos, everybody's like, where did you get your binding? And I have like this binding board that has like, I bind you, Nancy, every time, every single time unbind that. People are like, where did you get that binding board? I used to be obsessed with the craft. So I like to do cotton. So because I come from quilts, and then when I had to bind skirts or do weird things with hems, I use cotton. You like binding out with the right presser foot. And yeah, it just all depends on the foot too. Yeah, the connectors on the Rosie is definitely game changer, and I implore you, no matter what sling you have, use the connectors thing on the Rosie. You can literally put it on any sling. Trust me, I have done it. I even created a sling for the Catalina and used the Rosie's method. It just it makes sense. It just makes 100% sense. And then you just, it's not like you're gonna get, because we see this at least once a week. Why is my connector out of my sling? And I'm like, I could tell you. I, I I could tell you, and I could tell you how you're gonna have to fix it. First, you're gonna have to remake the bag. I'm sorry, sweetheart. So, and you go from that. Oh yeah, like and no, and you know what? And if you got all these designers, I wish like Alexis, Shannon, um, Erica, and all these really great designers got in a room together. They all would tell you to use cotton for your lining and binding because when you're on their testing, they'll be like, "There's nothing like cotton." And it took me a while to realize because I'm on the waterproof canvas and water resistant canvas board because I hate interfacing just like the next person and it's just easier to cut everything out. But then when I really start using cotton, I understand what they meant. Everything lays better. Everything lays better. It's more taut. It lays better and it's easier to birth. It's just it's just it's easier. So next time you do a bag, just give cotton a chance. Remember the touch, the feel, cotton. You have more capabilities too. Yeah. Everybody prefers cotton. Like all of Alexis's bags, like she'll have like a million testers. Just look inside of them. Every single last one of them are cotton. Same with Erica from Lavender and Twine. They all like cotton. They all like Samantha from Sewing Patterns and Mrs. H. You have Sarah from So Sweetness. All of them cotton. Bagstock, cotton. So it's cotton, 100%. Just cotton. So like just go, I was reluctant. I was like, yeah, water resistant canvas for life. And then I just slowly started like changing over to cotton again. It just I don't know, it helps. Yeah. And that's why I think I didn't have a problem with binding because if you really cut on the bias, um, your binding never really has an issue because you cut on the bias and it just wraps around everything. And you're like, okay, whatever. But if you don't cut on the bias, that's when you get like weird bunching and stuff. And I'm telling you, if you get if you get Allison Glass stuff, like Allison Glass has usually a dark rainbow and light. She just has like a dark and light. And I usually buy like 2, 3 yards and I make continuous bias tape. Mr. Domestic has like one of the fastest ways you can make continuous bias tape. And then I just wrap it up in my I bind you board from it's like I bind you, Nancy. You know, if you watch the craft, you know. Okay. I bind it up and then I put it in my binding boards and I use that same bias binding for like everything because it gets tucked inside. I have really weird hand gestures. Okay, sorry. So like, and it gets tucked inside, and then you're fine. It works really well, and then you're good. You will enjoy binding if you use cotton. I'm just throwing it out there. Next time you do it, go for it, and then maybe even try elastic. There's a couple people that have it. I know in the U.S. I know Saya has it, and I know that so yours has it. I usually I bought mine last time from Cereal Bag Maker. It's because I buy my interfacing from her. So I just was like, let me buy this color. And the most of them were blue shades. I don't know why I think different shades of blue are just different. And so and I'm trying it. And I do like how it wraps around. It's very unique. I still can't hit it. Even when I clip it, I cannot hit it. Like I'm working with someone in my Patreon that's trying to help me out. I can't hit it. Like I have a friend in a lot of tester groups that work together. Her name is Nancy, and she like can hit it in one felt swoop all the way around. I have not achieved that skill yet. I'm kind of envious, but practice makes progression. So I'm gonna keep trying. But like just try different things and see what works for you. Um, I don't know what patterns are coming out today. I totally forgot to look in my email because I like subscribe to like absolutely everyone to see what patterns are coming out. So I don't know, but today is just a fun, busy schedule. I plan on filming a video, and I plan on I'm going to be doing an interview for my Patreon peeps with Chris from Simply Classics. She is a very interesting person, and she's one of the kindest people I've ever met. She knows a lot about our history in sewing. So like she has a lot of knowledge about sewing history, period. And she is a CPA. So my Patreon peeps are going to be able to ask her questions about what's the difference between a hobby and a business and ask her questions about leather and all that stuff. So we are going to do that at noon. And I'm really excited because it's always important to know these questions. So if you're not aware, in my Patreon group, where this year's theme is secret society, and basically what I'm trying to do is breaking all the gatekeeping. So that way they can just explore whatever they want to do. So whether it's learning how to make bag patterns, start their own business, start their own YouTube channel, start their own dang on Patreon, Etsy, whatever they want, they're going to get the skill sets within this year to, go for it. So that's what I'm trying to do this year. Last year's Camp Novi, this year's breaking open gatekeeping. So I'm really excited for today because I every time I talk to Chris, she's an amazing person. We're also going to be teaching together at Saks Bag and Sews in California, and I just literally can't wait to meet her in person. I got to meet her very shortly, a short period of time at So Magical in Florida, whenever that, not last year, the year before. And but it was really brief because she was working her, booth area. You can't just like sit down and have a tete-a-tete when you're, working sales. But we have like email exchange, and I had Zoom calls, and she's just a very down to earth, great person. She's a good person to have in this community, definitely an asset. And I love working on her patterns. She writes patterns really well, and she's just super knowledgeable, especially with leather. She has a lot of knowledge. She has videos on her YouTube channels on Thursday, and they consist of like tips and tricks on leather, but they also talk about the history behind sewing. So that is something that you're interested, definitely look at her channel, because I think learning the history behind our sewing is imperative, because like it's important to know where we've been to continue to go forward. We always need to know about the past so we don't get doomed to repeat itself. So definitely look at that. So that's what we have for today, and the rest of the day after that, I'm just going to hang out with my kids and bug the heck out of them. Yeah, she is absolutely amazing. You like elastic, but yes, it's hard to tell which way is around. Yeah, Margie, your girl is struggling a little bit. And then yesterday, I snagged it a little bit and it was fuzzy. And I'm like, do I burn this, or do I pretend fray check, or do I pretend like it didn't happen? Like I was, I was stuck on stupid for like 20 minutes. So I just put like fray check and just continued on and pretend that it didn't. Yes, she has really great patterns. Like there are a couple patterns that I have made that are going to AwesomeCon, that I made like out of leather, and I use my laser machine to make like the maps of Mordor and stuff like that. And I'm like, me and my daughter have a bet that this is in the top 5 to sell. I actually think I'm going to show you guys the top 5 that I think are going to sell, and the top 5 that Hope thinks is going to sell. Um we have different ones except that one bag. So, and you guys already know the rules. The first, we each have 5, and whoever gets the first sell gets to pick dinner. So I need to pick. 'Cause last time she picked some Japanese food, and our bill was like $125. And I felt like we really didn't eat. So thank you. Oh yeah, it says I'm not a Jedi on the back. So yeah, I love Ahsoka. So I'm hoping that tomorrow we're supposed to start getting our bins together. So what I'll do is on Sunday I'll put the top 5 that Hope has and I have, and I'll show you on Sunday the top 5 that we each have to pick. And you're gonna be very surprised on some of the picks, but Hope, most of her stuff, she picks not the style of the back, but mostly the print. So most of the things she has is arcane related, and that has a lot to do with alchemats. So yeah, but there's some things that she picks on style on alone. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. So I will talk to you guys all on Sunday. Tomorrow, sleep in Saturday. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you real soon.